waiting. Will you join me?
Hello, welcome to Star Wars and our Mandalorian Season 2 breakdown. I'm joined, as usual, by Robin and Matt. Good evening, gentlemen.
Hey!
We're all here, and we were laughing before we came on air. We're going to probably laughing through this entire show, because this is going to be a good one for many, many reasons.
I liked it. I liked the episode. It was a filler episode, but I liked it.
But also felt like it was helping as well. It wasn't like the Tatooine episode from last year, which did just feel like we need to fill an episode. This did feel like it was a filler episode, but also progressing it a bit as well.
Yeah,
kind of a nice mix of the two.
How many episodes are in this season?
8 again, isn't it?
8.
Is it
Same as last
so I'm
year,
really surprised we've heard nothing about Moff Gideon yet. As well, considering we're now a quarter of the way into the season.
Well, I actually have a slight theory about that. Because I rewatched like the trailer and the first look again, and a lot of the footage is from the first, I'm going to say 3 episodes. And then there's all the Navarro stuff, which I think because all the other stuff has been from like the first 3 episodes, I reckon we're going to go back to Navarro in like episode 4 maybe. Like all the Navarro stuff might be episodes 4 and 5.
Yeah, and obviously we've spoken before on the internet, spoken about it, that there's a likelihood Sabine's going to turn up. And I'm wondering if my new BFF forever, Dr. Mandible, was talking about Ahsoka and Sabine.
Potentially.
Look at him! Oh, I love him!
See, what I like about him is he's also a reference to episode 4, where you see a praying mantis thing in the corner of the cantina.
So the reason I wanted to talk about him is because Peyton Reed, who directed this episode, directed Ant-Man.
Exactly.
So it's straight up.
You can tell. There's a lot of like similarities, like tone-wise, to this episode and both the Ant-Man films.
And I love
Dr. Mandible would fit in well in an Ant-Man film.
Well, the great thing was about that, because for some reason, I steal my housemate's Disney Plus when he's not looking to watch this, and they have closed captions on everything. And when it came up in the closed captions, like Dr. Mandible, I was like, is this just someone's put a weird name into this? And when Ripley from Wish called him Dr. Mandible, I was like, his name's actually Dr. Mandible.
Yeah, well, I said it before we came on here, but the first time I watched it, I generally thought that she was just giving him some sort of weird name. Oh yeah, this is Dr. Mandible, whatever. And then the second time I was like, actually no, I think that might actually be his name.
That is his name.
Now I want to know if he is actually a medical doctor. Just imagine that thing operating on you. He wouldn't need any tools. He could just use his own hands and mandibles.
I want Space Hospital with Dr. Afra, Dr. Mandible, Dr. Bull. I'd watch that. Like Cavity in space would be great.
Oh my god, a Star Wars.
No. This would be much more like Scrubs in space than Casualty.
What you don't realize is Dr. Mandible was present and fixed Vader. That'll be an episode. Anakin's burnt up body we brought into it. Like 24 hours in A&E.
You just had Dr. Mandible going, did you save me the leg?
But it could be like, do you know those shows like Sunsea and A&E? Like that, but in Star Wars.
Like I said before we came on air, when Dr. Mandible isn't on screen, all the cast should be asking, where is Dr. Mandible? He's great. That was the first thing I wanted to talk about, because I love that it was effectively is a big Ant-Man reference in the middle of the and season 1, episode 1, I forgot to bring this up last week. I say I forgot to bring it up, I read it during the week, but the scene where what's his face, Timmy Oliphant, launches a rocket out of his back is shot for shot the same as in Iron Man, where he takes out the tank.
Only slight difference is Cobb is looking at the explosion where Iron Man turned and walks away. But when I first watched it, I was like, that's very Iron Man. Then I saw Favreau direct it, I was like, that explains why.
And all the noises line up. So I like these Marvel kind of nods that are coming up in season 2. They get me quite excited.
Yeah, and Peyton Reed is now the 3rd MCU director to direct an episode of Mandalorian as well.
Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. So Dr. Mandible, big love for him. He was playing Sabak. What a legend.
Yeah.
Winning with,
and Pelly won with an Idiot's Array.
Idiot's Array, yeah.
I just love the fact that she's like, he wants your buy-in. She's just there going, I'm gonna get so much money from both of these two. It's great. And then she just goes, "Ha, idiots, hooray!"
They're going, I'm an ant. I don't know what I'm doing.
Like I was small earlier, and then this weird dude threw a thing at me, and now I'm this big. What the hell?
Dr. Mandible was playing the drum kit at the end of
Yes. Yeah, that's Dr. Mandible.
It's Dr. Mandible's origin story.
I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch Ant-Man films, watching for Dr. Mandible now.
So good.
He manages to get he gets to Tatooine because of the quantum realm.
Quantum realm? What's a quantum realm?
Quantum realm.
It's
try saying quantum realm while laughing. It's not easy.
It's Robin ordering Ant-Man off a wish.
I wanted Ant-Man, not Dr. Mandible.
I'd watch that though.
Although, if Dr. Mandible does ever get a voice, Ant-Man.
I'd love it to be Paul Rudd.
That's the name.
I
forgot Paul Rudd there for a second there. Yeah, but Paul Rudd to voice Dr. Mandible.
Ace. That would be good. I liked it. Oh yeah, let's talk about the beginning of the episode. Was that an unmasked Jawa? Or was it a Jawa with a different mask?
No, different creature entirely.
At first, I thought it was some weird Jawa, but then I remembered. I think you see a similar one in.
It's a Tido.
It's not quite a Tido, I don't think.
So it is a Tido.
Because I definitely think you see one of its species on Jakku in episode 7. I don't think it's a Tido.
I'd like it if it's like a renegade Jawa. I think that'd be cool. I'd be happy with it. He sounded like a Jawa.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But then I was like, pretty sure it's not. It's something I saw on Jakku, but
yeah,
it might be.
It's similar
End of the day, he's scum. He held a knife to the child.
And that's why he had to fly.
That's why he flew. And that was the best, that non-dialogue moment, which we were talking about, where the child just looks mouth agape at the Mandalorian to go, what?
He just looks up and goes, seriously? Man is like, what?
So much was said there between a puppet and a helmet.
Yeah.
Just on. I thought that was class. I thought it was really clever. Really smart.
It's just the shrug where it's just like,
so good. And the tanking it through Tatooine with everything on his shoulders is kind of the look I'm hoping we're going to see on Kenobi.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of. What figure is it where it's like the kind of in between 3 and 4, like Nomad Obi-Wan, where it's very much like that.
Yeah, it's not Remnant Obi-Wan, but it's done by Sideshow.
Yeah.
And that's what it reminds me of. So
yeah. I have the look of him holding it from where you see it from the front view.
I mean, I have to admit, watching Mando walk through Mos Eisley with ships going around the background in that kind of dust setting, like it just feels Star Wars. This is the thing. Yes, we are watching a Star Wars show, but the aesthetics are very important. You know, a desert is a desert.
When you see stuff like that, it is very Episode 4.
I did get annoyed that he was walking through the desert carrying it when he could fly.
Yeah, but you got to think of fuel. I thought about that. I was like, he can fly, but also it's kind of he's got a lot of stuff that's kind of heavy.
Initially, I was watching it. I was like, this looks really good. Why didn't he fly?
To be fair, though, he does have 2 jetpacks.
He does indeed.
But I think he couldn't use bobbers because he would have had to tweak it to work with his remote control thing. But broken. That bit was great, where he just remote controlled the jetpack to lose the dude, and then the way it just landed on the ground,
and then just fell over.
It just fell.
It's very Favreau. It's very Favreau.
Great opening to the episode, but really good opening. I'd like that, because what we had kind of in season 1 a lot was this week in Mandalorian, we're on this planet, or it started in space, so to have it pick up on Tatooine and actually have some conflict happen there.
So I was thinking this, and I'll touch back at this when we finish the episode, but I think season 1 was their test bed. Now they know what works, what doesn't work, how the show needs to feel on screen, how it needs to be edited, how the episodes need to flow to one another. And already, I think this is a lot more seamless between the first 2 episodes than we had between last season. You have your 2-parter for the end of season 1, but already this is a filler episode, and we're going to talk about that as we go through it. However, for a filler episode, for me, this is already one of my favorite episodes of The Mandalorian for quite a few reasons. But for a filler, it's fantastic.
It's very child heavy, which is a complete counterpoint to what we said last week. Which is fine. I think we got some real progression on the child in this episode.
He's even trying to speak, I think, as well.
Someone I read on Facebook earlier that someone did say he's had his first word, but I didn't pick up what it was.
I don't know if it was an actual first word, but there was a moment where he's like, I definitely think he's trying to speak.
It's going to be interesting.
Potentially.
It did sound like he was trying to talk.
Yeah.
That's going ahead a bit.
I don't think we're going to quite see his first word until maybe the end of the season.
Maybe.
That would be cool. That'd be a nice way to cap off the season. That'd be quite cool. I didn't think about that.
What are you trying to say? And him just say, the way this is.
What are you trying to say, Doug? Man, don't get taken out by a log from an Ewok or something. That'd be cool. It'd be very Favreau as well.
Indeed, but we covered the opening of the episode. It's kind of really cool interaction between Mando and Pelimotto as he goes, look, you come across a Mando and you killed him. It's like, no, he wasn't a Mando. But
he wasn't a Mando. I bought this off him. How much did that set you back? I killed a Great Dragon.
Oh, that's it, is it? She goes, okay, he needs to know where the next Mandalorians are. He needs to continue down this track. So, a little bit of story progression. Not much. It is a filler, but it's enough to keep the story moving in a
Dr.
direction.
Mandible knows, though. Dr. Mandible knows where this Mandalorian is.
Well, no. So, he knows somebody who knows where a Mandalorian is.
Yeah.
If that's Ahsoka.
Yeah. Well, it went very, very heist movie-esque kind of thing. The next bit of, the contact will rendezvous with you in the hangar. Is like, really? Really? You don't need to
do you know what would have been perfect in that moment?
What?
If Dr. Mandible had then gone into a massive, you know where I'm going with this, a massive Louise-like montage of various denizens of Tatooine saying, oh yeah, my mate knows this, and blah, 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 and it just ends up with the frog lady. That would be perfect.
That would have been so good. And there was this dude, and he said this other guy who looks like, no way.
No
but
way.
obviously, it wouldn't be in basic. It would be in old clicks and stuff.
It just over here is click, 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 click.
Yeah,
click, click,
now that humanoid characters like mouthing actual words, we'll just take clicks in it.
If they did that, the closed captions would read what it wants it to say. But in the actual click to be Morse code, and someone will translate it to be is completely just Louise saying how you said it.
It would just be Louise Ant-Man in clicks.
That would have been super cool. And it would have disjointed the episode, but I think it would have been very cool.
Yeah, but it still would be fun.
Very cool. I've not thought about that. That's awesome. I want to watch your version of this. Yeah. Oh yeah, like her cooking.
Again, it's another reference to episode 4 though, with Treadwell.
Yeah,
he's rotisserie styling the Great Dragon.
But I love the fact that she's using the pod racer engine to cook it as well.
Yep,
and there's absolutely the summary of this episode is the child is a hungry boy.
Oh yeah.
Like he eats a lot in this episode. Like the way he's eyeing up that Great Dragon meat. Like he's a hungry boy.
Yeah. You know Futurama?
Yes.
The child is Nibbler. That is just it now. The child is Nibbler.
Oh my god, yes. Yes.
I mean, to be fair, when he has the eggs later on, it just disappears into his mouth. Yep. He barely even opens his mouth. It just goes. So he is Nibbler.
Yeah.
So many people are starting going, he's a Sith. He's a Sith. What's he doing?
I mean, he has force choked someone.
Okay, so this is we now meet our kind of our plot link for the episode with the Frog Lady, who I cannot remember the character's name off the top of my head.
On the Disney Plus closed captions, it just said Frog Lady. Genuinely, it just called her Frog Lady.
Her name next episode.
Yeah. What I love though is Pelimotto just going, "Yeah, I vouch this person with my life. You're absolutely fine. I met her 10 minutes
1 minute later. I only met her 10 minutes before you got here. You just vouched for her on your life."
Great character. No.
So as she stuffs Great Dragon meat into her mouth.
So the whole point of this episode is Frog Lady needs to get from Tatooine to planet where her husband is, so he can fertilize her eggs. They can continue their family line. It's all good. Basically, she's a ride. However, it's sub-light speed. And as Amanda says, I'm not a taxi service. Well, you are now. Sub-light speed, though, which then brings on to my... the next part of the episode, my favourite part, which, of course, is our lovely chase. But before that, we do get to what is one very hungry boy.
Oh,
like, no, don't eat that.
There is some fantastic dialogue in this episode, for either non-verbally dialogue or actually scripted dialogue. There's some fantastic, just quip lines and stuff like that. And the egg thing is just like,
what it
it's
reminds
great.
me of is like Maggie in The Simpsons when she's at Moe's and tying up the pickle jar.
Yeah.
It's very...
See, at first, I wasn't sure if he was going to try and eat it or not. Because there's the moment where he walked up to it and like he did the hand thing. I genuinely thought like he was sensing a connection in the Force.
He was going to hatch them or something.
Well, not necessarily that, but it was just like
There goes your episode.
Yeah, look, here you go. Baby Yoda fertilized them and the weird Baby Yoda frog things. But no, I thought it was like some sort of like force. He was having like some force connection, like he could sense the life in them. It was going to be like progressing the child's force abilities. And then a minute later, he was eating one. I was like, oh no, he was just hungry.
Yep.
I mean, our boy, the child, is on solids now. Everyone's grown up.
Oh, yeah.
Although, quick point, I have noticed that both episode 2s of both seasons involve eggs in some way.
They do.
Oh,
Although,
sure,
to be fair, though, there was a similar shot in episode 1 compared to last year where you had...
Oh, yeah, I generally thought the crate pearl was going to be an egg. It was like, oh, God, the Tuscans like eggs, the Jawas like eggs. Fucking hell. I mean, flipping hell. Sorry.
Right.
Wasn't me!
I know.
Sorry, that was it. Sorry, it just kind of slipped out.
I deserve that.
Yeah, there's a definite egg theme in episode 2s of The Mandalorian so far. I'm just wondering what egg's going to be in season 3, episode 2 now.
It's going to be a villain called Benedict.
Played by Cumberbatch. Or Wong.
Benedict Wong would be awesome. The egg thing. I thought the egg thing was great. It's really like almost didn't. You kind of do expect it from the child, but at the same time, it's raising more questions than anything else. Like, why are you doing this?
Especially, I mean, to be fair, at that moment, I don't think he really knew what these things were. Like when she first walks in and she sees them, and he's just like, "Ooh, food." He's really not paying attention to what's going on around him.
Like a space age vending machine.
No. Yeah, he's just like, "Oh, that's Manic's snack."
Yeah,
but
so
then
at this point, Mando just takes and goes, "Nope, time to have a nap. You're not eating that," which is just it's just adorable. Him just telling him, "I was like, no, not food." Just like it is proper Fisher friends, not
frogs
food.
are our friends, not food.
Exactly.
I mean, it was really the interesting thing, I think, for character development wise at this point for me is the first time we've seen Mando being a father as such. He's telling the child off. So, no, you don't eat that. Like, you don't touch the hot oven. You don't eat that. You're going to bed. And I found that like super interesting that we suddenly see. I think the episode on a base level is all very paternal.
Yeah,
like got the frog lady who needs to deliver the eggs. She's mothered them, and now you've got the Mandalorian. It's a really different angle, I guess, to how I looked at it half an hour ago. But then you've got the Mandalorian being a parent to the child, and I think it's a really interesting kind of character shift from that point. And Peyton Reed doing it, obviously a lot of Ant-Man resides on his relationship with his daughter.
Yeah.
So I think, there's a really interesting angle to take on this.
Yes, it's
like
definitely
Jerry Springer.
Mandalorian being more of this kid that he's found and essentially adopted.
Yeah,
I reckon
exactly.
It's a bit like when Mando finds like where the child needs to go. I generally think there's going to be a moment where he just doesn't want to let him go, and maybe he doesn't. And he actually keeps him, and he makes him a little armor. So you just got the child walking around in a little Beskar armor.
Yeah, maybe. And I think this is it. We're now building up an actual emotional connection between the Mandalorian and the child.
There's a bit of it in season 1, but with him telling the kid off not to eat these eggs, that is like the first moment where Mando becomes a dad in a way.
Yeah, he is Daddy Mando.
After last week, where he's putting the child in danger all the blooming time, And it was just like, he's fine. He's seen a lot of stuff, and maybe he's realized, maybe I should be looking after this kid more.
Maybe I should be looking up.
Fine. This time around, he didn't have his little cot where he was out in the desert and thing. So at least now he's
Did he?
No.
Wait, what happened to that?
It's
no, it was left on the Racecraft.
Yeah, he just didn't take it when he went out to.
Yeah. I was thinking, hang on, did that get left on Tatooine? But then I remembered, no. He didn't take it, and then when they got to Tatooine, he had him in the bag. Yeah.
What's the time jump between season 1 and season 2?
I don't think it's that long.
Because Grief Cargo looks a lot older from what I've seen.
It's got to be enough time for Grief Cargo to grow a goatee and it go grey.
It's hard purely because we forget the child is already 50 years old. He's not going to age that much, like physically.
No
matter how it looks. On top of that, Din Djarin has helmets. You can't see him age. So
but in the actions of the child is what I'm more saying. He's not in the cot anymore. He's walking everywhere. He's eating. Yeah. So maybe this is them trying to show the child maturing as well by not having the space cot.
But it can't have been that long because in episode 1, like when Mando meets Pelly again, like if it had been like, let's say a year, she probably would have mentioned it, but it doesn't seem, it probably be like a few months like after the first Tatooine episode. So yeah, it's probably not, probably only a couple of months at best.
It might just be a way of them showing that the child's growing up.
Yeah.
Like they get rid of the cotton things and eating solids, which we
to be fair, he's going to be in the cot in the next episode again. So.
Oh, is he?
Well, this is me guessing literally on the trailers on how this episode ended.
Yeah, because from what we've had, the trailers so far have been the first 2 episodes.
Well, I'm saying 3 because obviously we see all the stuff on Trask, which I'm guessing is next episode because of what happened in this episode.
Yeah, Cara Dune and stuff, don't we?
I was gonna say that.
No, because Cara's on Navarro, so I think that's possibly 4. Again, just judging by the fact that the first 3 episodes have been a lot in the trailer and the Navarro stuff, so I'm guessing they're only showing like the first half in the trailers because potentially big stuff's happening in the second half.
So, Phil, do you want to talk about your X-Wings?
I do a little bit because I'm not going to lie, this for me was the highlight of the episode. I have a bit later on I want to talk about that I love, but as so fun, there's an alarm that goes off and Mando has to run back to the cockpit where he's flanked by 2 T-65s, one of which having Trapper Wolf, which the fact that Filoni is back for it just makes me so happy. But they're doing a basic running the tags. It's what are you doing in this neighborhood? We're just going to run your license plate, give you a license kind of thing, which is it is quite an American trope in television shows when they have something be pulled over for not what they're supposed to be doing, even if they have every right to be in that particular neighborhood. And of course he goes, yeah, I'm fine here. Here's my information. I go, well, you have to turn your transponder on. He goes, well, I haven't got that on mine. Switch to channel 2 for a second. You just see them set the S4 to attack positions. Like,
as soon as that happened, it's like, they've just set their S4. As soon as he said change to channel 2, I was like, oh, Mando's in trouble.
Yeah,
Mando knows it. He's like, he's just there going, well, this is not going to be fun. And then you just see that, and you're like, roll.
There's a little bit before that where it was I could switch it on, but with the hyperdrive processor, it's going to take a while. It's just we'll wait. I just thought it was great. I was like, yeah.
Mando's like, oh, for God's sake, I just want
to. No, I've got it. It's here. It's fine.
It's another very human element of the Star Wars universe. You're seeing this just New Republic at this point, just kind of being cruising.
You can clearly tell, like, there's a lot of empty space around there. They're probably just bored anyway. It's like, we've got nothing better to do. We'll just stand there and wait until you do it.
And again, it was just another very human part of the Star Wars. We've only really ever seen X-Wings dispatched to go blow things up. So it's the first time they were just like, we're just here.
Yeah, including the last time we saw Trapper Wolf.
Yeah. So to see them in that kind of capacity, the S4 was locking in. The moment that happened, you just knew it was something was going to go down.
As soon as he said change to channel 2, I was like, Mando's in trouble now.
Yeah.
Oh, the frog lady talking. What was that? Oh, it was just the dog coming out of the...
gone into the manifold, yeah.
Yeah.
It was great.
It's like,
shut up. it is. I mean, they're not running space, but it is the equivalent of you really shouldn't be doing this. And of course, then it just dissolves into one of the coolest chases. I don't know. They don't actually have any screenshots to put on the screen, but one of the coolest chases in Star Wars I have ever seen. It's very evocative of the trench run where you do have. But this is two T-65s, of course, chasing down the Razor Crest. It's a bit of Die Another Day in terms of being out on the ice as well. It's got a little
to
bit
be
of
fair,
the noises,
there was
the actual
like
X-wing. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
It's quite evocative of, I forget which episode of Battlestar Galactica it was, but there is a bit where the Vipers are being chased. Are they being chased or are they chasing? They're like flying against the Cylons in atmosphere. And it was kind of a bit like that in this as well. Because like, there was moments where like the Razor Crest like goes into the clouds, but then they couldn't find him again anyway. It's like it's quite Battlestar Galactica there.
He pulled the engine off in the clouds, which was really cool. And you've got the trench run. There was elements of the Jakku chase as well with the Falcon and Force Awakens.
Yeah, the Force Awakens, especially with the Razor Crest just going along the ice, which is very much like the Falcon when it lands on Starkiller.
Yeah. Or going through the Star Destroyer when it goes through the caves and stuff. So it's a very Star Wars chase sequence.
There's also very Battle of Britain-esque, which is what George Lucas, when he went to ILM to begin with, when this is what I want. He pieced together World War II footage and Battle of Britain footage to go, I want this, but in space. Give me this.
And they basically did that shot for shot.
Yeah, it's when you have, for example, when Mando does shut off the engines, and you have the Razor Crest plummeting towards the ground in atmosphere. That is a Stuka bomber noise. I know that noise anywhere. I love my history, and it's just it makes my hair stand on end. It is just incredible. And yes,
but it's a real world application as well in that kind of situation. An engine off for a quick descent is a real world thing. Which again, I liked. I really thought I brought that in because I've done engine offs. It's a real thing. Yeah. So it was cool. It just felt real.
Yeah.
But when they also mention like how old the Razor Crest actually is,
when they say
cool. What's he doing? What's he doing with that thing in this atmosphere? It's going to tear it apart.
Yeah.
Like because the Razor Crest is an old ship.
It's the first time we've really seen Mando be like an ace pilot as well.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. There's another element to the character.
Yeah, because last time we saw Razor Crest do like some crazy moves, he wasn't flying it. Zero was.
No, it was the child playing with
that is part of it. The child's going, I don't know what I'm doing, but this is great. Yeah. But yeah, this is the first time we've actually seen like properly like fly this bucket of bolts in a half decent way.
Which is making the Razor Crest more like the Falcon now. Here's an old beat up ship that you can shock round corners and
here's an old rock that can do things that it really shouldn't be able to do. But to be fair, the Razor Crest is more beat up than the Falcon. It's like the Falcon can do some cool stuff and stay intact. The Razor Crest tries to do it and something will break off.
Yeah, I like at the end of the episode, I don't know how much longer the Razor Crest is going to be about for as well. I don't know if we might get a new ship.
Well, because I did have a thought, and it probably won't happen, but I could kind of see it happening, is the Razor Crest just, when it lands on Trask, it's just gone. And it just gets totally wrecked and totally unflyable. And then he has to find a new ship. Like, for the next few episodes, he's, like, using, like, public transport and stuff until we get back to Tatooine.
He's using public Mandalorian episode 3 Oyster card.
It would be like in episode 2 when Anakin and Padme had to use the
cruiser.
The words can't work. That's why I said public transport. But you know what I mean. And so they inevitably have to go back to Tatooine.
It creates a better image in the mind of
a certain ship.
It creates a better
and mind. And then the Mando is flying Slave One.
Mando on a red double-decker bus.
It's on a bendy bus, mate. It gets around corners better.
No. It'll be a flying double-decker bus, surely.
And he's got a child, so he gets priority seating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he probably will end up fixing the Razor Crest because we've seen him do that, 3 or 4 times now?
But he really fixed it in this episode. I was surprised.
Well,
he really surprised. No, but
really fix it.
When he fixed the canopy, I was like, how have you done this? That bugged me a little bit. I was like, how your glass is smashed. How have you repaired
this? I mean, he probably had spares. Like most
Bit of
people
wood
have
and
spare
some
parts in
nails.
the boot. It's probably, but to be fair, the thing is, he didn't really fix it properly. He basically just did a patch job to get into Trask.
I mean,
So either when he
jumping-
gets to Trask, like, because we see in the trailer, like, him, like, it burning up when he's going into atmosphere.
we
It's
are
probably him
jumping
landing on Trask.
quite ahead here, though, at this point.
Yeah, but
Okay, let's talk about the spiders from Mars.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the big point of the episode. Yep, so of course, Mando manages to evade, well, he thinks he managed to evade Trapper Wolf and the other X-Wing pilot. Parks himself basically in a little cave and goes, right, it's fine, I'll get everything sorted, we'll be out of here sooner rather than later, and then...
Well, I mean, to be fair, he thinks he's safe and then it just collapses, yeah.
Exactly, so he thinks he's safe, but the base crest falls to the ice, they end up in a cave network. He goes, well, we're going to be here for a while, get some sleep, and I'll fix it up in the morning, we'll try and get out. And the frog lady just goes, no, I need you to fix this. He doesn't understand, of course, so she then rigs
Don't
up
speak
Zero.
frog.
Yeah. Do you speak Huttese? Again, I quite like that little bit of like him trying to communicate. She then rigs up Zero, rigs the communicator, and basically guilt trips him into going, you will fix this hunk of junk, we need to get out of here.
I thought Mandalorians were all about honor, or was that just stories for children? And you can just see Mando going.
I loved the lady the deal is off with Stark.
Yeah.
I thought that was super. Like it goes back to him being cold again, just being like, look,
yeah,
we're screwed. Like deal's off.
And then she brings in the Mandalorian code, and he's like, okay, and he without saying a word, just gets up, grabs the toolkit, and just walks out to fix it.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I did worry for a moment when you heard Zero that I genuinely thought that she just fixed him properly.
It would be so weird.
But to be fair, when the episode started, it had like the recap and it showed Zero getting shot. I was like, what's that got to do with anything? Then
it was good. Richard Iardi back. That was great.
Yeah.
He's fantastic, and I love that bit while he's fixing the ship, where the child stood there and he's just like, "You're going to lend me a hand."
Yeah, and that's the moment where it sounds like he's trying to talk.
I mean,
because
normally he's just like burbling and gurgling, but it generally to me it sounded a little Huttese, which is why I thought he was trying to speak.
No,
but I know it probably wasn't Huttese, but I mean, Mando could teach him Huttese anyway. That would be interesting. But that's the moment where I was like, he's actually trying to talk here, because he was basically saying, "Frog Lady's leaving." Lady's leaving.
And this will mean that there was a lot of dialogue in this episode that wasn't spoken word. So the way the child's just like look,
yeah.
And what the things they do with that animatronic is crazy.
Yeah.
A puppet is mental. And I know it does go into CGI in some bits in the episode, but for a lot of it was the animatronic. It's impressive.
Indeed. So yeah, you do have him leads Mando off. He goes, okay, what are you trying to show me? Of course, so she's like, how long is left? He goes, well, can't help you on that one. But these are you basically find Frog Lady in a spa.
Of course, why not? They've crushed in a luxury holiday resort.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was luxury.
It's got one more spa than I have.
This is very true. And to be fair, I had to help you install your washing machine, and that even took you to figure out.
That spa is pretty legendary. Like that's luxury. It's a 4-star resort.
But again, when she's in the spa, there is another moment of Father Mando. Well, yeah.
It's like we need to gather things up. We need to leave. Yes,
we need to get these. But... Yeah, we can't stay here. We need to go in the ship where I can protect you. So he's gathering them up. And you can see the child's like, I'm just gonna. He's like, no.
Yep.
No. But
then the child goes and sets. So the child goes and sets off the turn of events. Now, not being as familiar with these spider creatures as you guys, my takeaway from this as a casual was it's very alien.
I mean,
the eggs, the spiders in the eggs. And you've got Ripley from Wish at the start of the episode. It felt very much like the face huggers from Alien, which is why the moment he started eating the spider and the egg cracked in the background, I was like, this is not going to end well.
Well, to be fair, like when he opens the egg, I don't. It's well designed the inside of that egg, because when I first saw it, I was like, that's nasty. And then he just picks up and goes, nom nom nom. And yeah, I saw it moving back. I was like, oh crap.
It just
it's
eats everything.
Yeah, but yeah, it's very Alien, where it's like one of the eggs goes and then all the others start to open. Like, oh.
So it was cool because I like Alien. I think Alien's great. It's very suspenseful, but it was seeing all those eggs being eggs. I was like, I know what's going to happen.
As soon as you saw them around, it's like that's a lot of eggs. The child's going to eat. The child's going to try and eat one, and B, there's going to be big spider things coming out of them. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't expecting it to be these spider things.
I mean, so this is the thing. So as soon as the eggs start hatching, I recognize them instantaneously. They are the Krykna that you see in Star Wars Rebels. But we'll talk a little bit first about the Ralph McQuarrie artwork. First of all, I love Ralph McQuarrie stuff. Anyway, I love all the concept art he did for Star Wars. Of course, we know that Filoni used an awful lot of the concepts from that. I'm
fairly sure in that picture that they've literally just taken that's not a redrawing of it. I'm fairly sure they've literally just taken that picture and drawn around it.
Yeah,
which I think is cool.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that Filoni used to use a lot for Rebels and Clone Wars. Took a lot of McQuarrie stuff and made it, especially for
literally having one of McQuarrie's art pieces in Thrawn's office in Rebels.
Yeah,
really? That's cool.
The picture of Lothal you see in Thrawn's office is one McQuarrie did of, I think it was Tatooine.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I like that. It's cool.
It's like, hang on, that's McQuarrie artwork.
Right.
But yeah, they've been doing that since Clone Wars. It's like so much stuff they've just brought in to everything, and these are just one of them.
So
sorry, go on, Phil.
Yeah, so Dave, friend of the show, hates spiders with a passion. And it was a very good point. Anyone who doesn't like spiders is just going to hate this episode because it makes your skin.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that on Twitter where people are like saying, "That Mandalorian did not need that."
What I really like, it took a lot of this segment of the episode took a lot of tropes that people are very familiar with, such as the facehuggers, the spiders in Harry Potter, Shelob, especially with the big thing, big one. It felt very familiar to something we'd all seen before, which I think the interesting angle on that is you take something quite familiar and you've transposed it, and now you've got these new characters to see how they deal with it. And what I'd love to say about the chase at this point is whenever I thought in my head, you have a flamethrower, he used it seconds after. I was like, hang on, why are you shooting them?
Yeah, when he finished using the flame, it's like, why didn't you use that before? But to be fair, he was probably, at that time. He was just thinking, "We need to get out of here." And we just need to get out of here. And then he realized, this isn't working. Burn them.
This is the first time I've had genuine fear for the main characters.
Because, really?
I knew they'd be fine, but I knew Baby Yoda and Mando would be fine. I wasn't sure about Frog Woman though.
When Frog Lady started jumping on all fours, that really creeped me out. It wasn't the spiders; it was her jumping along made me feel uncomfortable.
Oh, that made me laugh. I was like, "Well, she's a frog."
But this is the why I love it, and why for me it's already one of my favorite episodes, even though it's a filler. Is yes, you know they're going to survive. You got 6 more episodes to go, season 2, let alone whatever else you want the story to be. But
I think that Frog Lady, she could end up being quite. She could end up being quite an important component. She survived the episode. She's clearly going somewhere, which happens to maybe be the same place as Mando. I think she might be quite important.
Yeah, well, because she's literally the link to him finding more Mandalorians.
Yeah, well, I think she.
Unless Pelly was just peddling a bunch of rubbish, which could have been true.
Dr. Mandible wouldn't lie. He's a trustworthy, upstanding physician.
Yeah, but Mando doesn't speak Ant. And who knows if Pelly actually does? She was probably just making it all up because Dr. Mandible was probably saying something else. She was saying, "Oh yeah, he knows what Mandalorians is." Dr. Mandible's like, "That's not what I said. That's not what I said."
No, but Frog Lady does, and she speaks frog.
Oh, that bit was funny. To be fair,
I think she could end up being some. The moment she didn't die, I was just like, she could end up being quite integral to this season.
Yeah.
So to be fair, I kind of thought she wouldn't die because I remember seeing a shot of. Now I realise it's her in the trailer. But
yeah,
But yeah, when she, I thought she'd fallen at first, and Mando was gonna have to pick her up, and then her head just popped back up on screen, and she was leaping like a frog. I burst out laughing at that.
Proper freak.
It was more the I couldn't put, because you sent it as a GIF. I couldn't put the GIF in the overlay. That's not how overlays work. But I can just put a Krykna on Matt's head.
I love the fact that you've used the picture from Rebels as well.
Yes. Well, this is
Matt. Now that it's on screen, you're going to have to recreate the Baby Yoda bit.
Well, no, it is my head now.
That's
and Matt has been
terrifying.
replaced by a giant spider.
Much like Dr. Mandible, I too am an upstanding insectoid.
Oh God! Now that that's replaced your head, it's like the head creature from The Thing.
I am the Supreme Court Justice of Coruscant. Professor Bananas.
You are not the Senate, and you are no longer a spider. It's fine. No, this is the thing. So this is how I recognize them instantaneously. That shape, that bulbous kind of thorax behind the head. It just is.
To be fair, when the child picked it out, I was like, that does look a bit familiar. And then when they all started hatching, it was like, oh, they're the things from Atalon.
Although, still one of the coolest parts was when one of them launched himself at Mando. He just caught it, went,
grabbed it, and just crunched. Yeah,
that's cool.
It was bug splatter time.
Yeah, because one webbed into the thing, and you're like, uh-oh. It tried to face hug
now.
Like,
right,
no.
This is another point though. Very Ant-Man-esque, and very kind of the first the same thing when you meet Spider for the first time. Like, nope, I'm gonna web you up. It's very kind of Marvel-esque. Sorry, it's it's very. You can tell.
They utterly destroyed the Razor Crest as well. They did a number on that ship. My God.
But again, that bit when they're all climbing on the Razor Crest, it's very reminiscent of when we see him in Rebels climbing all over the Ghost.
Yeah. And this is why this episode to me felt so Star Wars. Because it puts together the visuals, but also the tropes, you can just tell the universe is connected, and it just feels properly done. But what I like though is that when you see the largest Krykna here, when you actually see him up close and personal at the cockpit, here half his face is just completely singed when Mando tried to blow it up.
Yeah, but it also felt a lot to me like the asteroid in Empire Strikes Back with the space slug.
Yes.
When things start rattling and moving, and they all run to the ship. I was like, yeah, it felt a bit like Empire, which I liked, obviously.
Yeah, but I did like the bit where he's trying to take off, and then Mama Spider just jumps down. I was like, I don't think so, mate. You're going nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's that beautiful bit in the cockpit where I thought we were going to get the child versus one of those spiders one-on-one. Yeah. I got to get a little fist fight or something.
Well, no, because you could see it looked like the child was ready to use the Force on them. Yeah. And then it got a bit overrun. And then he has one on his end and he goes, yeah. And then Frog Lady just comes to his rescue and just blasts them all off. And there's there is that little moment between them where she's like, you're safe. And he's like, thank you.
But it's that moment in the cockpit where they are screwed. You get the one outside. That's that moment of genuine fear. Like, this could not go well for them.
It was like, what's going to happen? Who's going to come to save them? And
obviously, they do turn up to save them. And the one point I want to make about those two X-Wing pilots is they are incredible shots.
Yeah.
They are pinpoint shooting all of those bugs.
I mean, to be fair,
super accurately.
To be fair, they are New Republic. New Republic and Rebellion always hit their target. If that had been some stormtroopers, Mando would have been I'd be like, are you hitting anything? He's like, I think I'm just making the ship worse here. Yeah. And then the spiders just take over.
But it was that noise, that X-Wing blaster is so iconic. That sound is so iconic that when you hear them shooting the big ass Krykna, it's just like again that back is like, I know that sound because they have come back. And of course, in the episode, a lovely bit of dialogue between the New Republic X-Wing pilot and Mando. A case of we know who you are, we know what you've done, but you also saved or tried to save one of our own, and you captured 3. Going right back to that episode, which is episode 7 of season 1, when on the
stuff.
Yeah, episode 6, yeah.
Episode 6, sorry, yeah.
And I like that
connection there.
And that was cool. And I like the how about you guys hang around and help me fix this? Let's see how about next time you put your transponder on.
Yeah, we don't atomize, yeah. But I did like that moment where he said, am I under arrest? I was like, well, you should be.
Well,
What you did do is a solid, so
yeah,
we'll let it slide this once, just don't let it happen again.
Yeah.
Which was cool. And then they go and limp out of there.
I was like,
And
yeah,
properly-
he literally says, yeah, I'm going to limp us to Trask.
Yeah,
And you see him
he
fly.
feels pressure
But I
out
like
the
the
hole
way
and
like
that's
he takes off. Like normally, it's like you just fly out of that hole. Here, he was like bumping into everything, just trying to get out.
Yeah, and how you got out of the atmosphere is beyond me. But what I love, the closing shot, of course, is when you have Mando sat there, tells the frog lady she's all good. Mando's like, baby Yoda sat together. She's just like, no, you're not having anything. It's fine, it's fine. No.
And at that moment, I thought the child was such a little prick.
He is. He's such an
And it was
dick.
because at this point he knew that that container she had contained her children, and the fact that she just saved his life not that long ago, and he still ate one of the eggs. I was like, okay, child, no, you're a little no. At that moment, I did not like the child.
It was the Star Wars equivalent of telling off a toddler for putting a Lego in their mouth. You don't eat it, but you're still proceeding to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at this point, he knew they were her children. She'd saved his life. You'd think like he'd be like, okay, they're off limits, but no, he still ate one. The little prick.
Yeah, and of course, that is so. This episode was, as we've gone through it, was filler. There is no progression in terms of him.
It didn't really feel like it though.
No,
I think there's hidden progression in it that we're not going to see. So season 1, a lot of the filler episodes tied back up at the end, and I think this filler episode is actually going to be integral, but we're not going to find out until later.
I agree, but what I like though is compared to last season's fillers, this felt less clunky. This felt a lot less kind of, you are now very much in a different place doing something different. Next time we're in somewhere else doing somewhere different. There's not the episodes were good, but the connections felt jarring. Whereas this time around, I think they've taken, as I said, they've looked at season 1 going, what worked, what didn't work, how do we connect these up better? Because the pacing in this episode as a filler felt so much better. If you compare this, for example, to the Gunslinger from last season, the pacing is so much better. The references are so much better. Everything's just that little bit smoother. We all know that shows do take a season or two to kind of get their footing and find out what works and how they are going to best portray their story. I do think now The Mandalorian, with Jon Favreau at the helm, instead of being him writing everything and not directing, now both writing and directing and basically producing, he now has that larger overseer role. I think because he now has a dedicated eye, I think it all flows that little bit better. And as we know from Marvel and everything else, he's used to having to link up storylines. And I do think that he's put that touch onto The Mandalorian.
Yeah, but it did help. Like, I have a feeling that there's going to be like a through line of this season where one episode will end and then it will lead into the next episode. It's like we've had that with 1 into 2, and it looks like we could have that with 2 into 3. Because, like I said, like this ends with like the Razor Crest being destroyed, going to trying to get Fishwoman to Trask, which is obviously the water planet we saw in the trailers. Because we also actually do see her in one of the trailers. Like when we first see that like big, like going to the boat where you see Mando and like all the other people, you actually do see her with the container on her back with someone who I'm assuming now is her husband, and that's also where we see Sasha Banks.
What does Ahsoka do now? Not like she's an accountant. She gives up being a Jedi and stuff, right? What is her purpose in the current? When you see her at the end of Rebels and she's got like the white gown and everything on.
Well, again, this is massive spoilers for Rebels if no one's actually seen it, including
I've
you, Matt.
not seen it, so spoiler
basically,
away.
at the end of Rebels, at the end of Rebels, they defeat Thrawn by Ezra basically getting the Purgle to take Thrawn and himself somewhere. And Ezra leaves the message saying, "I'm out there somewhere, come find me." at the end of the series, we see Sabine, and then Ahsoka walks up to her, and it's heavily implied, actually it's pretty much outright stated, Sabine and Ahsoka are going to go for Ezra. Yeah. That's why I keep saying we need a Hunt for Ezra series. So presumably, that's what Ahsoka's currently doing.
Yeah,
so the last time in the timeline, the last time we see Ahsoka is that post episode 6 bit of Rebels where they're going to find Ezra. So again, she could theoretically be hunting for Ezra.
From what I've seen, and obviously I've not seen Rebels, I've only seen like production images and get an understanding on the Grey Jedi and all these, or I know that Ahsoka gives up the Jedi path and things. It could make sense to me that she's not so much a cult leader or something or a church, but it would make sense if she's like a healer, and if this frog lady's going to Ahsoka with her husband to be like, please save my species. Like an evangelical priest to a degree or something. That's why I just wondered if it was just like, wow, she forsook the path and went as a traveling healer, very akin to like the Jesus story.
No, she very much goes. She's not a Jedi. She has denounced the Jedi in terms of their very strict views, but she does go along more lines of the moral ambiguity of I will do what's right and I'll help the little guy, but I'm not gonna do that at the sacrifice of all of my emotions and all of my
for want of a better word, humanity.
Well. Yes, she does. Yeah, she joins the rebellion. She does. She fights what's good, but she doesn't do it in the strictness of the Jedi.
Right. Because I didn't. My gut feeling is this: the frog lady is being used as a chip, or if you want, or a tool to introduce us to someone.
It could.
I feel like
the bean, because again,
she's got a purpose.
Yeah, and again, it could be Sasha Banks could actually be playing Sabine now, because the reason Mando had to take her to Trask is because she or her husband know about some Mandalorians.
Yeah. So, the frog lady feels really integral to the next episode, because otherwise she would have died.
Yeah. Although, regarding Ahsoka, I actually had a theory I came up with today that's probably not going to be true, because a lot of my theories seem to not be true at this time. But because we don't know what the child has been in the past 50 years before Mando meets him last season. So I reckon Ahsoka might have found the child at some point on a hunt for Ezra and was trying to look after him. Something happened that, like, she might have left him there to go do something else. Then Mando took him, and she might now be trying to find him again. And that's how we get introduced to Ahsoka in the series.
We'll get an Ahsoka and Boba Fett fight. That'd be cool.
That won't stand a chance.
It'd be so good.
Boba lost to Luke, so yeah, we'll see. I mean, to be fair, Ahsoka nearly best Vader.
But just giving us these already pre-established characters encountering each other, I think, would just be really cool.
But again, we don't know what Boba's like now. He might not want to fight anyone.
Yeah.
Wow. Pacifist Boba. Zen Paul.
Well, he might be a Tusken Raider now. Who knows?
We will probably find out. I mean, it's one of those things that I love the fact that, once again, the trailers have shown what will effectively be those first 3 episodes. We know nothing else going forward.
Potentially 4 with the Navarro stuff.
Yes.
I mean, 4 and 5.
Yeah. Okay. That aside, the Navarro stuff aside,
it's the first 3 episodes. Yeah.
First 3 episodes, but it all links up. It's all kind of in one place. I think so far it's very cleverly written, very cleverly teased. And as I said, for filler, there are far worse episodes out there. I mean, we all know this from Rebels and Clone Wars in the Star Wars universe, but not just that. In terms of any TV show that you've ever watched ever, there are filler episodes, and there are episodes that just don't make a lot of sense, that you don't like because, well, they're not integral to the storyline. This is one of those filler episodes that, unlike that, for me personally, it's why I've raved about it to my various little group chats I have, because comparatively speaking, this is of a higher level in terms of both the actual writing of the episode itself, the pacing of the episode itself. It doesn't feel disjointed. It does progress the storyline only slightly, but it still moves the Mando along, going, okay, I need to find Mandalorians. This didn't work on Tatooine. Where can I go next? Here's instructions to where the next planet, but without immediately jumping to said next planet, which is why I love you can't go by hyperdrive, because it cuts out that whole cheap process of going, well, I can get there in a few minutes, done. and it forces Mando to take a slower path, which is why he then ends up getting caught and then having to go to Trask, and then he'll then go from there onwards. So, comparatively speaking, as I said to other filler episodes, for me, this is why I rate it so highly.
I feel like the first 3 episodes of this season you'll be able to just watch back to back, like almost like a 3-hour-long special. It flows that well. No, I liked it. I enjoyed it. It felt very familiar. A lot of the humor was very Ant-Man. I liked it. Like, you know, I know I kind of made the face hugger comment and everything, but I liked it. I didn't dislike that at all. It felt familiar.
He's being no. Get proper.
It's so perfectly placed. I can just do it.
It's almost like we practiced it. I just feel like it was a good episode. There was some very familiar fantasy and sci-fi kind of elements to it.
There was some very cool shots. You met Matt earlier. You mentioned the tank Iron Man shot we get from Cobb Vanth, and for me, this particular scene is very Aragog. Because you see all the little spiders coming, and then you see Aragog appearing. It's like very similar.
Yeah, that whole thing did remind me of Chamber of Secrets, especially where they're running past, and you literally see one just coming down on its web.
Yeah. The only thing I think I would have added to this episode is when the big one drops on the Razor Crest, when things calm down a little bit, I would have loved to Mando just been like, "There's always a bigger fish."
There's always a bigger spider.
You know, just to bring it obviously back to Qui-Gon, but.
Yeah.
No, that's what needs to happen when it's eventually revealed the Krayt Dragon ate the Sarlacc.
Yeah.
There's always a big Qui-Gon's Force Ghost appears just to say there's always a bigger fish.
Yep, done.
Vanishes again.
You don't even see his ghost, you just hear his voice on the wind. There's always a bigger fish.
Well, that can happen in Kenobi. They'll explore that in Kenobi.
In Kenobi, you probably will have him talking to Qui-Gon. That's a different video.
You probably will. Yes, that is very much a different video. We definitely have time to get into everything we want for Kenobi. But as I said, filler episode, as it stands, I love it. Child is an absolutely adorable dick in this episode, but we'll forgive him because, like, you can't stay mad at that face for long, even when he's eating things that he shouldn't.
That's so cool.
I mean...
Yeah.
So well done. So well done.
He ate someone's child.
Children.
No, yes, but he ate knowing what it was, and
I mean,
the mum had helped him.
Theoretically, Robin, you eat eggs.
Yeah, but
they're children of a different species. Still eat them.
That's not the point.
That's
no chicken has ever saved my life.
The French eat frogs, dude. The child's actually the child.
Yeah,
his first word would be "Bonjour, Papa Mando."
I mean, to be fair, it does make the child like. It does make sense the child likes to eat these because we know he likes eating frogs from season 1.
Exactly. It's just like us eating chicken and eggs, just the space version. If the chicken was large enough to talk.
It was a dick move at the end to eat one. I will let him off when he's doing it there because he doesn't know any better. But at the end, when he does, and he still does it, he's a little green prick.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. You still don't hate him.
Just imagine what's going to happen when he gets to Trask. He's going to be trying to eat everything.
We'll wait for him to eat a baby Krayt Dragon or something.
Toddler.
No, he's going to try and eat a baby Mon Cala.
Look, if you've ever been around toddlers, you'll know the fact they try and eat everything in sight. It's just what they do.
Which is what I think they're doing. This is why I think they're just trying to use that to show that the child's maturing as we're going along.
Yeah, he's reaching his species equivalent of the Terrible Twos.
Yeah, he can reach the glass jar, and next time Mando's just got to store things higher up.
To be fair, he did use the Force on them.
Yeah, portable to him.
Yeah.
That's lovely. But
just a little bit, or he squished his nose up against the jar as well.
Yeah, I tried to get that one. However, every time you kind of whatever image you try and get for that one, it just looks so warped because of the way the water looks, and it's a little weird on the screen.
Yeah, that's the point.
I love it. I love it. But
just a little bit of detail to that was nice.
Yeah, so I think it's a fantastic filler, bit of progression. We've got next week. Again, no story. What I like is there's no titles so far. We don't know the title of the next episode. We only ever know them about either day of release or just about day before release, something like that.
I mean, I've only been finding out when I start watching the episode, which I'm fine with.
Yeah. I think it's all good. But yeah, guys, anything else to add to what has been a fantastic episode.
No, not really. I just want to see where it's going. That's all. Do we know if there's going to be like some mid-season break in the middle of this one?
No, it's 8 straight because afterwards then
they
you have
have
one division and then you have
8 straight through. Yeah.
I mean, the only reason they did it for
Yeah.
season 1 was so they could tie into Rise of Skywalker, but they don't.
Okay, that's good. As long as I know I can watch it through, mid-season breaks annoy me. But hey, it's cool. And then I'm just excited to see where it goes. I feel like I'm really intrigued by the Frog Lady because I think she's going to be a vital component going forwards.
And we're definitely going to find out more about her next week.
And then when they land, there's going to be no eggs left in the jar.
Oh,
That's your conflict. The next episode, the child's eating all of them.
That would be.
If
sad.
that actually does happen, I will never like the child again.
We're here to deliver these. Oh, and just that little burp again.
Yeah, no, there's just one solitary one just floating in the water.
No, it's just like,
One-
wait, where do you go? They take the child and he's just about to eat one. He's like, ah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Well, that's the biggest thing to take away from tonight's episode is Dr. Mandible is just baller and the child is
He's the hero we need, just not the one we deserve right now.
Yeah, the child is Nibbler. But yes, as per usual, thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to subscribe, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Star Wars Podcast, at the Star Wars Pod, at Star Wars 2020. So until next time, we've been I'll get my words out eventually. We've been Star Wars. May the Force be with you. Good night.
Come, my allies. Observe.
Yeah. Where's your overlay not working, Phil?